Life Angelz with Tracy Lynn, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Life Angelz here on LA Talk Radio with your host, Tracy Lynn. Another great show ahead of us tonight. We are going to be having another guest join us in the studio in about half an hour here, so stay tuned for that next guest. We also have in the house one more time again, put your hands together for Mr. Dan Kennedy, celebrity photographer. And we also have an amazing woman today, as you guys can see. We have Cynthia Rothrock, Queen of Martial Arts. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, it's an honor. You should see what we've been doing behind the scenes back here. You're going to see the video soon. She kind of just, sort of beat up Dan in the back here. But
I got whiplash now.
Yeah.
I might sue somebody.
Yeah, I know Californians like to sue people sometimes, so hopefully that won't be the case. But yeah, we've been having fun back here, and we'll be posting those videos and pictures later. Welcome to the show, Cynthia. It's such an honor to have you here tonight on Life Angelz.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you guys don't already know, my listeners and viewers, this woman is the Queen of Martial Arts. I mean, you've been doing this for a while. So how long? Tell me, let's go dive back into, how it started for you and where you're at now.
Okay. Well, I started when I was 13 years old, and I was always into sports and different kind of activities, music, every instrument, dance, martial arts, and this was just another thing I saw. My friends' parents were doing it, and I saw the belt, and I was like, oh, I'd like to get one of those belts. So my mom signed me up for 4 months, and I was the only girl in the class. It was all guys. I was very intimidated. The first class, one of the green belts said, here, break this board, and the board was already broken. I almost broke my toe on it, and I was like, I don't like this. My mom said, you have to stay. You have to stay. I signed you up for 4 months. You're not going to quit. And during that time, my instructor had a talk to all the students, and I thought he was looking specifically at me, saying that, quitters aren't winners, and you're not, if you don't put anything into it, you're not going to get good. And I thought I didn't practice, so I started practicing, and very quickly I got good once I changed my mind frame. So I think what happened was I made my first belt in 4 months, and I jumped a rank, and I had at that time I had to compete against black belt women. It was everybody. There was no divisions,
Sounds
white belt,
tough.
beginning, advanced, right? And I took second place. So I thought after doing that, I thought, maybe I could be really good in this sport. So from that day on, I just, with a fury, trained really hard.
Good for you. And so for some of us that don't know, what are the belts, the levels? What does it start at? And obviously where you're at now.
Yeah, well, you start out as a white belt, and different styles have different color belts, but basically you could go from white, yellow, orange, purple, blue, green, brown, red, black, and then there's different types of black. I just got promoted recently, this past 2 weeks ago, to 8th Dan. In Tuxedo, which thank you.
I know that's really good.
Yes,
to
yes.
me.
Do I call you master now?
I know. I think after what she just did to you back there, yes, she should.
She's earned it.
Well, actually, Dan is Grandmaster, but I don't really like to be called Grandmaster, but that comes with 7th Dan and up. But
I'll stick with Cindy.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Good for you. And how long did it take you to get to the black belt?
My black belt, I got in actually 2 years, which was quite quick back then. But once I competed after 4 months, I was training 5 times a week. I was going there every single day after school.
Good for you.
I wanted to compete, and I really, really, had a fire in me that I really wanted to do well, and I skipped a couple belts here and there.
Okay. And then again, too, you said, you were intimidated. You were the only woman in there. So when did we start seeing it change where more women got into the sport? Because I know it's not, I don't know if it started out like that, or is there more women in the sport now?
Well, definitely. There's a lot more. Back then, there was a big fallacy that martial arts was a man's sport, and you had to be big and 6 foot and strong to be able to defend yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that's why there weren't so many women involved. And one of the things I am thankful for in my career is that I feel like throughout these years and years and years, I've brought a lot of women into the sports because they would see me compete, or they would see my movies and say, well, wait a minute, she doesn't look like she's that big and she can fight like that, so maybe I could do it. You know, so then I would say maybe starting around actually like the 90s, you know, more women really started coming into it and realizing that, you know, it's a great form of exercise, but at the same time, you're learning how to defend yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of respect for you because I think that's one of the sports I didn't try. So I don't know why, but you know, I was big into the soccer and the baseball and stuff like that. But you know, I definitely have a lot of respect for you because I've seen it, and you know, I watched a lot of my friends do martial arts and guys when I was growing up. But you know, she's tough, this girl. She is tough. And then, so when did it transition into the movies for you?
Well, I had a goal that I wanted to be #1 in forms, which is like kind of like in gymnastics, rhythmic, you know, with like a weapon or open hand routine. And I wanted to be undefeated for 5 years. And I was competing probably at least 30 times a year. So we're not talking win one championship and that's your first championship. So I think my goal was, I think I competed over 1,000 tournaments and have never lost. I always took first place. And around my 4th year, I was on the cover of a karate magazine, and some Kentucky Fried Chicken saw it. And they said, oh, we want to do a commercial for Kentucky Fried Chicken of all the best in fields. So they're like, Cynthia is the best in karate. So I did that. And then
I love it.
From that, I was like, where was I? I was about my 3rd year, right? And they were auditioning in Los Angeles. They were looking for a male competitor. They wanted someone to be the next Bruce Lee. Okay. And I was on the West Coast demonstration team, and they called the leader and they said, well, shall we bring the girls? And they're like, yeah, you can bring the girls, but we're really looking for a guy. So I went down, and Yoon Kwai, who is very famous, we were talking about him as a director before, was there doing the auditions, and they decided to go with me instead.
I love it. Good for you.
So then it was funny that they never really contacted me, and then I was on another cover of magazine, and Peter Jennings was on at that time, and his people saw it, and they said, let's do something on World News Tonight about her. So they ended it with me doing some swords saying, look out, Hong Kong, here she comes. And Sammo Hung saw it, and he said, well, who's this girl? What is this, Hong Kong? You know, and Yoon Kwai said, I know her. Yeah, we signed her up. And then right away they had me go in June of 1985, and that's when I did my first film, and I've done probably about somewhere around 50 movies since then.
Fantastic. So what was the name of your first film?
It was Yes, Madam.
Okay.
And it was with Michelle Yeoh. Yeah. And it was in Hong Kong, and I had no idea. I didn't know anybody. I was going over there all by myself. I thought I was going to be dressed in Chinese clothing. I was going to have black braids and razor blades in my hair and twirling it around. And they're like, no, you're going to be Cindy, and you're a cop from England. And I was like, oh, really? And the first film took 7.5 months to shoot.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And didn't you spend 5 years in Hong Kong, was it?
I stayed 3 years, and then I went back home, and I came back like in 92 and did a film, and then went back home, then went back in 94 and did another film. So
good for you. So, I mean, you're perfecting your career at this point, because to spend that amount of time to go over to Hong Kong, you're training, and what was it like over there?
At first it was a different world. I actually envisioned myself like from Enter the Dragon coming in over the water and looking at everything. But you know, I was surprised a lot of people didn't speak English. So there was a big language barrier.
I got that. First time I went there, big culture shock to me.
Yeah,
that must be tough.
And I was surprised, you know, and I never shot a film before, and the director was like, okay, well, we're going to have you say your lines in Chinese the first day of filming. And I was like, oh, I don't even think I could say them in English, never mind Chinese. And I remember he gave me this line, and I started going, yething, humma, 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 because I got nervous. And they're like, okay, good, that's good. And I was like, no, wait a minute. I said, humma, 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 humma. And they're like, oh, that's okay. We film with no sound. So as long as your mouth is moving, that's fine.
Little did you know, right?
Yeah, and you know, I wasn't used to eating Chinese food. I came, you know, from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I was living in California for, you know, a couple of years, and you know, it was a whole different lifestyle change for me. But once I started meeting people and really getting into the film industry and knowing my way around Hong Kong, you know, I really loved it then.
That's amazing. And you said that you also had some schools you were teaching as well?
Yeah, at that time I was teaching. I had a school in Northern California that was called America's Best. And then when I went over there, I did my first film. And see, when I did this film, I thought I was just going to do one film. I thought, that's going to be it. Hopefully I'll be on the poster and I could tell my kids, look at your mom did a movie one day, you know. And it was funny. I wasn't on the poster, the first one. I had a little tiny picture and I was like, what? But then that movie came out. It was a huge hit. People, I remember they have this thing called the midnight showing where you go and watch it, and they were scaring me saying, you know, if people don't like it, they'll throw tomatoes at the screen and they'll boo. And everybody, I did this one scene that's phenomenal. You could actually check it on YouTube where I do this split on the wall, and then everybody stood up and was just cheering, like a standing ovation.
Yay.
And then from that point, I got another offer and another offer, and I still had one more year to compete. And I was not going to give up my goal of being undefeated for 5 years. So I would fly from Hong Kong to Minneapolis, come back, be on the set that next morning, then the next time go back and fly somewhere else. And then they finally said, Cynthia, you have enough points, you're way ahead of everybody, that you've got number one. It's for 5 years in a row. And I was blessed, actually, because I went right into films then. So it was one career change that went right into another.
Good. It was a good transition. Good for you. And I mean, so what is the mental prep like for you? Because I know what it's like for me with competition. What is it like before a competition? I mean, it's mindset, right?
Oh, it totally is a mindset. No matter how many times I competed, I always have felt the same thing, nervous, right?
Okay.
I would go to bed early that night.
Yeah.
I would have carbs because that's at that time it's like have a good carb meal for strength.
Listen to everybody out there, because carbs are good, carbs are not bad.
Yeah,
I love to tell people.
I like carbs.
That's what it was. It was carbs. And then I would drive to a competition or fly, and I never really could go and talk and socialize. I would just go to myself, stretch out, you know, I'd run to the bathroom a million times, you know, but the minute I got up there to perform, you know, my former weapons, I was just in a different world. All the nervousness went away, all the confidence came, all the strength, the power, the speed. And then when it was done, then I was like, hey, everybody, how are you? You know, then here all of a sudden, here she is.
Then the personality comes out. I'm the same way too. When I compete, I'm behind the scenes and behind the stage, and you know, girls are like, la la la, let's talk, and I'm just like, you know, zip up my hoodie and music and just zone out, because I need to be in the frame of mind where what you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Hey, I'm curious about something. When Don Wilson was here, he was sitting in that chair right there. He said that he did about 6 movies in 1 year. How many did you do when you were really going?
Yeah, I'd say I probably did about 6 too. I remember, I think in the 90s was when I did a really lot, and I just remember thinking I got to have a break because I'm going to go insane, because it was like one script after another, because action pictures were so popular, you know, back then. But, you know, now, boy, I wish that would happen again.
Every time I think
That's a lot, though.
Every time I think of Cynthia Rothrock movies, I keep thinking either the China O'Brien movies, or I think of you in Hercules. You were the devil or whatever you were there.
Yeah, the enforcer. I was the enforcer. Yes.
I love it.
I like that fight you and Karen Shepard. I like that fight.
Yeah, that was a great fight. I like the fight even better though with Kevin Sorbo. That was like really good too.
So I love this. Let's talk about your famous move. What's the name of your famous move that everybody knows
Famous
you for?
kick.
Yes,
The famous kick.
It's called the Rothrock Sting or the Scorpion Kick,
Yeah.
and I made that move up. Basically, I was doing ballet, so I would do gymnastics, I would do ballet, I would do anything, and I would train all day long, as long as it benefited my martial arts when I was competing. And I did this move in ballet where they said, hold on to the bar and kick your back of your head with your foot, and I did. I put a little bump on my head, and I went, oh, maybe I could use this. So I got my partner, hit him. He had a bump on his head, and we were like so excited, going, "This is great!" And we started it in demonstrations, and then it went to. I put it in a lot of my films. I actually just did it in the last film. I did the martial art kid, but I did it from on the ground, on the floor, and bring the foot back over that way. So I've done different variations.
Right
of
here,
it.
people. Right here.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Good movie. Good movie.
So what was your favorite movie to film?
My favorite movie to film, that's a tough one. I would have to say for action, it has to be any one of the Hong Kong movies, either Righting Wrongs or Lady Reporter or Yes, Madam, because the fights there are just brilliant. They're genius, the choreographers. And like I said, though, you have a lot of time.
Yeah.
As far as my American films, I really like the Martial Art Kid, the last movie I just did, because not only is it a good film, it has a great message. It deals with anti-bullying, and I think it's going to
Yes.
help a lot of the young people today once they see that movie too. The slogan is, we don't tolerate bullies.
Good. Yes, I love that. And thank you for doing that. I always love when people are giving back and helping out with stuff like this. So the Martial Art Kid, and that was just recent that came out, correct? Was
Yeah.
it a couple weeks
It's
ago?
still playing
Yeah.
out there.
Okay.
Still going a lot of the tour and everything.
So where can we see this so
Yeah.
we can
well,
tell the
let's
listeners
see.
and
Where's the next
viewers?
one? Well, I'm leaving
It's in Florida, I
November
think.
3rd. It's in Florida. It's in
Okay.
Texas tomorrow. What it is they're having, it's throughout the United States, limited releases in different theaters. And it's just been having an incredible response. My next one is I go November 3rd. It's going to be in my hometown, Scranton, Pennsylvania. We'll be having a premiere there. But, I mean, it's all over. It was started in L.A. We had Burbank, so that's where you
That's
could have
right.
saw
Okay.
it,
Good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, New York, and then it's just in almost every state now. They just
Good.
keep popping up.
And we also had who else do we have in that movie?
Our good friend, Don the
Yes,
Dragon Wilson.
Don the
Yeah.
Dragon Wilson. Shout out to you, Don, because we absolutely adore him as well. And he was on Life Angels here on LA Talk Radio. Probably, was it a couple months ago now?
Yeah,
You got it last month.
We're going to actually just get you to switch spots there. So we've got our other guest joining us here. And Tammy, I'm going to get you sit in that chair just right there, and then you can also bring that one around. So we've got Cynthia Rothrock here that we're interviewing right now. And so Cynthia, I mean, were there any other sports or anything else that you did? I mean, you just, straight off the bat, was this just a passion for you and you knew you were going to do this forever? The martial arts?
Yes, it was, because I think, once you're like, to me, if you're really involved in martial arts, it's a way of life. You just do it forever. You
Yeah.
never stop. But the funny thing is when I was competing, that's all I did was martial art related
Yeah.
things, and I didn't want to go skiing because I thought, I don't want to break a leg, or I
Yeah.
don't want to do this. But then once I retired from competition, and actually I had a daughter in 1999, and when she got a little better, I started getting into extreme sports, which I do now. Like a year and a half ago, I trekked to Everest Base Camp.
Okay.
And I like to do all these high thrilling adventures.
So what do you do, jump?
now. Well,
I'm
let's see.
all
I have
scared.
jumped off cliffs. I've done upside down zip lines. I, rappel down waterfalls. You name it.
Okay.
I do it. But I love it. I do a lot of trekking. So now,
What is trekking?
hiking, like
Okay.
cliffs. I think the
Okay.
next thing I'm going to do is Machu Picchu. So somewhere where it's nice and warm.
No big
Everest was
deal,
very
huh?
cold, very cold. But that's what I do now. Is every year
Great.
I take one or two trips that just is extreme adventure. Like kayaking, whitewater rafting, tunneling, caving, splunking, all kinds
Good
of
for
crazy
you.
stuff.
And that's the thing too, because when you are doing martial arts and you're competing, you can't get injured. Did they have you sign contracts and things like that so that you didn't do any, snowboarding, skiing?
No, they didn't. They just kind of watched me. But when I was shooting, we were talking about Hercules. When I was shooting an episode of Hercules in New Zealand, I had 2 days off, and I went whitewater rafting, and I went caving, which is like 12 hours in these caves. And when I went whitewater rafting, I never did it before. So I kept my hand on top, and my hand hit the rocks, and it was so cold. The water was ice. I didn't even feel it, but my hand the next day was swollen. And they're like, "You should have told us you were doing it. We wouldn't let you do it." So yeah, they do watch. But and like when I was doing the martial art kid, he's like, "You're not going anywhere crazy. You're not going anywhere crazy until this movie's done."
They're like, I got my eyes on you.
Yeah. But I did. I went to Iceland. Right after, and I went glacier climbing.
Wow, what was that like?
Oh, that was phenomenal. I highly recommend Iceland to anybody. It's just it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, because you have the black lava rocks, and you have the white snow and the ice, and it's just so clear and clean. And it's one of those places that, I actually went because I wanted to see the Aurora Borealis. I still have not seen it. There were like a 2 that night, but that was my reasoning for going there, and I just would, well, as long as I'm here on this earth, I want to travel as many places, go to as many countries, experience
Yes.
as many people, cultures that I can. So that's kind of my
Goal in life,
yeah,
yeah.
my goal,
Yeah.
like that, where I'm at now.
You have to do that. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, you've worked hard. You've earned this. So it's time
Yeah.
for you to enjoy it and have some fun. Do you have 2 children or 1?
I have one daughter, and
Skylar,
she's
is that right?
16. Yes, Skylar.
Okay.
She's in martial arts
Great.
too.
Well, she started when she was little. I tried to teach her, and of course, she knew better than moms. And then I find that I would get mad at her because
Yeah.
more than I would a student. I was like, this isn't good. So I had a friend teach her for a while. And then I wanted to teach her again, so I started teaching at her school so I could teach her. And that's the only way she would learn from me. And then she went to another school, and then she went into dance. So basically, a lot of the times, I think one of the biggest things about martial arts is awareness.
Yes.
Just to be aware and don't put yourself in a situation. And my daughter is very, very aware, and she knows where to hit, and
Good.
A lot of the fighting now has to do with mixed martial arts. Everybody loves Ronda Rousey. I do. So is
Yep.
she into that as well? Are you into the mixed martial arts yourself?
I like to watch it. Anything involved with martial arts, I do like to watch. And I'm more of a traditionalist. I like the traditional martial arts, the hands and the feet. And,
Okay.
Yeah, I tried it myself once, and my first
But-
day, I got hurt.
Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, you can get hurt because my friend was actually doing a seminar, and he ripped his urethra, from doing it, and he has been, not to say that that's going to happen, but
Yeah,
I'm just
but
saying, it's rough. It's a rough sport, and I think it's a good supplement if you're a black belt to learn how to do ground fighting. But as a martial artist, you basically that's not where you want to be. You want to try to get the person down and knocked out before they get you to the ground, because you don't want to be there.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed too with that sport, because obviously I don't have a lot of knowledge in that sport, but I see once you get people on the ground, then you're done. Like I noticed that in the UFC and different things like that. It kind of seems like, the hitting and stuff like that, but like Ronda Rousey, for example, I've seen her live, and it's just as soon as she gets, people down on the ground, it's kind of, I'm always like squinching in the corner going, don't get up, let them up, because it feels like once you get them kind of like down, and then it's all in the breathing and things like that too. So you have to keep your breathing steady. And I mean, so is that a big practice where you guys have that, where it's people are being pinned down? Is that like the wrestling? Do you know?
Well, there's all different forms of arts. Wrestling is different. Judo is different, which is throwing. You have some martial arts styles that do have a lot of takedowns, ground fighting. The mixed martial arts is mostly all
Everything.
like ground fighting, and then you have like Don Wilson, who was a kickboxer, and
Yeah.
that was knocking out with kicks and hands.
Yeah.
So you have so many different things, and you just basically got to find what you like and what's good for your body, because a lot of people say, well, what should I study, and it's just experience
Yeah.
and see, because not everybody
I know. I've been there.
likes to do different things. Like I love the Chinese, the Kung Fu, and the Korean Tung Sido for the kicks, but your body has to be able to do
it.
all that.
Yeah, I started with Taekwondo myself, which
Yeah.
pretty much sucked because my kicks, my flexibility, not really the greatest. So I looked around and found Kempo, which is great for me. I love it.
Exactly. So for, it depends
Yeah.
a lot on the body type, like what is going to be easier for you. But I think, I just tell people go to different schools and look at the class, look at the instructor, and then kind of get a feel for it and try it out and see if you like it.
See what works for you, because everybody's so different.
Yeah, and you know what? They're all good. They all offer good things. They all offer self-defense. It's not really the style; it's the teacher. You just got to make sure you
Yes.
have a good teacher that's
I
teaching.
need to ask you about
Patience.
something because I saw a movie of yours recently, and which reminded me of someone that we lost, Corey Haim. Yeah, and he passed away several years ago already. And what was it like working with him? Because I never met him. I met Corey Feldman quite a few times, but never met Corey Haim. So when you looked at that one movie together?
Yeah, we did. Well, no, we did two. We did Fast Getaway 1 and we did Fast Getaway 2. And I think Corey Haim at that time was like 18 or 19 years
I never
old.
saw part 2.
So he was really young, and I just remember him saying, I had to grow up really fast. I'm 18 years old, and I'm supporting my parents, So I think he just got a lot of fame, a lot of fortune at a young age, and it came so fast. It was kind of hard to, just kind of deal with it.
He
and
wasn't-
things.
wasn't
But he
too
was
serious.
a sweetheart. He really was.
All right. Okay.
Aw. And do you have any advice for anybody that's starting up and getting into martial arts and just kind of keeping people in it? So if you're starting at a young age, for say, would you give anyone advice on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, if you have children, it's great to get them enrolled in a program young because it works a lot with their focus, their concentration,
Yes.
their self-defense. I mean, their self-confidence, and we find that
this is exactly what the movie is based on. Right
Yeah.
Here.
yeah, kind of. So we find, that it's great. It's great for children. I am a firm advocate that I think everybody should learn some martial arts. Doesn't matter like how old you are. Like you could even be 90 and still learn some basic self-defense moves. It's just something that I think everybody should know. And I think what happens is sometimes, people get discouraged. Like I myself, right? When I was telling you I was a young girl, 13, I was discouraged. It was too hard. And it's like with anything, you have to give it a chance and you have to practice, and then you'll start getting better. And once you start getting better, you'll love it. So now I kind of laugh about that because anytime in my life something is hard, like I did like a hip hop class, I was like, or Zumba, and I was like the first class, you're like, I feel like an idiot. And it's like, I don't care. I could look like an idiot. I'll laugh at myself. But the more you do it, the better you get. And like anything, I think, what martial arts has taught me is just don't accept failure, and always put your best, no matter what you do, into whatever you're going to do. Put 100%. I'm trying to instill that into my daughter, which she hasn't quite got that yet. But I was like, well, I don't think I had it when I was her age either. It kind of came along. But you kind of like, after you've done that, you kind of just want to say, look I've been there, I've done that, and this is, what you need to do.
That's great. That's great advice. And I see that with my son too, because, he was in the hockey and the baseball and the soccer, and he wasn't great, if you're listening, sorry, Cody, but he wasn't great at, all the sports, but, he got into the hockey, and it was funny because he could barely skate, and he wasn't doing well at all, and he was getting hit into the boards, and I was, watching from the sidelines, and it was terrible as a mother and as a parent, and I was always very good at sports. So for me, I was just like, please, 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 I'd be praying on the sidelines going, please get it, please get it. And he ended up, being the captain of his team, and not because of he was the best hockey player out there, but his heart was in it, and he gave everything he possibly had, and he practiced and practiced and practiced. We went skating on weekends, and he never gave up, and that's the key to it. Is
exactly.
Practice makes perfection, and also people just be having that unstoppable attitude, and believing in your kids, especially supporting them, especially because when it comes to bullying and things like that, which you guys touched on in the movie. We really have to be there and back our kids up, because as we know, bullying is one of these things that's out there these days, and it's terrible. So we always have to back up our kids and really just keep encouraging them and supporting them through this.
For sure.
Yeah, that's great. You were also in the Dukes of Hazzard movie, right? So I'm a big fan.
I was on the reunion of the Dukes of Hazzard, and that was great. I had a blast. That was the first time I shot a whole movie at a studio. So every day I could go to Warner Brothers every day to the studio lot, But I loved it. I loved working, with everybody, and Catherine Bach. It was just so much fun. Yeah, it's like Bertha Joe Butler.
I love it. I know. I read that. I was so excited. And the Hall of Fame. You've been in the Hall of Fame for martial arts.
Yes. Well, I guess my first big Hall of Fame was the Black Belt Hall of Fame, which is very hard to get into. And also, I recently, 2 years ago, received the Arnold Classic Hall of Fame, which again is very hard. I was the first woman martial artist or bodybuilder to get the award, and I was very honored because it's really, really tough.
I know it is.
I know, right? The awards that they have after.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so that is tough. Those two awards are like the two that I hold really dear to my heart. I mean, I love them all. We have a lot of Hall of Fames, and a lot of people, go through that. But those were really, you really had to work hard to get those two.
Congratulations for you.
Excuse me. Do you do much weightlifting to combine with your martial art? How much time do you spend in the gym and then doing your martial arts?
Well, now like I like to go to the gym. I like cardio. I like to do cardio classes. Yeah, I like to sweat and burn up calories. Yeah. And then I do also like to do the weights. I like to do the classes, where you're changing your weights and you're having the big, So I like that. I like, pretty much all kinds of exercises. But I guess, when I'm home and I'm not traveling, that's probably where you'll find me is like, at the health club, doing something like that. I usually
I love it.
travel to do my hiking and backpacking and all that kind of stuff.
That's good. You have to stay in shape if you're, hiking and stuff like that. You're carrying a lot of weight on the back there. Have you ever tried TRX suspension trainer? It's the straps that
yes,
yeah.
I did a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, I was going to do it, and at the one time I hurt my knee, so I was kind of a little bit, hesitant about doing it. But I have to go back to do it because it seemed very hard and very challenging, and that's what I like. I like to be challenged, and I like things that aren't make you work, or like I said, like it's that
amazing.
thing is like And I've also done bar method classes too, which I love too, which are very hard and challenging as well.
Well, I would love to offer you a TRX class. I would put you through it and complimentary. I love training, obviously, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But TRX suspension training is one of my specialties, and combined with a cardio. So we can do that.
I would
We
love
can
that,
go
for
strap it
sure.
up. We can get in nature, and I'll strap it up to a tree. We'll go in the park, and I'll put you through a workout. We'll have some
there
fun.
you go. We'll do
I
that.
love
I did it yesterday.
And you will sweat. Well, I've got a caller. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. Hi there. Who's calling? Welcome to Life Angels tonight.
Hi, this is Jaime Lopez, Baby Doll Couture.
Hi there. How you doing?
I think that's for Tam.
I think what I'm going to get you to do is if you could give us a call back maybe in 10 minutes. We're just doing our first interview first.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you in 10 minutes. Bye now.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, TRX is amazing. So it was invented by the Navy SEALs. I mean, this is like a lot. It's all core. So it's a lot of fun. And, if you're traveling a lot, too, you can take it with you. You can stick it in the door. You can stick it anywhere. And you can, do it while you're away.
Yeah, well, you got it. I'm gonna
let's do that.
Yeah.
So I'll keep connected with you on that. And so what other movies do you have coming up right now? What's next for you?
Also, after I did the Martial Art Kid, I finished a film called Showdown in Manila.
Okay.
And that's with Mark Dacascos, who is the Iron Chef, and he's done a lot of films. He's directed, his first time directing.
Oh, cool.
And he's also acting in it. And Don Wilson, our friend, again,
Yay,
is
Don
in that.
Wilson.
And Carrie Otagawa is in it. Matthias Hughes, Olivia Gruner.
Wow.
That one, I believe it's a Russian production, co-American Russian production. And I just heard from Mark, because we had to go in and do some ADR, that they're going to have a premiere screening in Moscow in March. So two completely different movies. One family film, the other one rough, tough, down and out, dirty,
Kick some
gritty.
butt.
Yeah. Machine guns.
Do you know it's going to be
Love it.
part 2?
Yes, we will do a part 2. Yes, we will.
Good.
Probably next year, because we've had such a good response from it. It's a good message. So we're all excited about doing the sequel.
Part
You
2.
look hanging right there.
Go see part 1 first, and then part 2 will be out, you guys. Also, Mortal Kombat, you have that's you in the video game.
Well,
come on.
Well, wait a minute now. They say it's me, and if you go to Wikipedia, it says it's me. But the producer of that, when he first did that, he took my likeness and my scorpion kick and my moves and didn't want to pay anybody for it. So he didn't get me, because at that time I was very high in my career, right at the top of it. So they just copied me. And I went through so many years of kids saying, Sonya Blade, can you sign that? And I'd be like, that's not really me, but okay, I'll sign it.
Okay.
But so that really is kind of, it's one of those Hollywood stories,
Yes, okay. I mean,
for
so
you.
impressive. Your career is just, I mean, you've gone from, this young girl and being in this situation. I love that. I love hearing stories, when you're surrounded by men. I had another lady, Lisa Lockwood, on here, and she was the first woman in Chicago to be on the SWAT team. And, just getting through all these things, because it's tough out there, especially when you're a woman amongst men, a beautiful woman as well. So good for you for not giving up and just pursuing your career, and just, I mean, look at where you are today. I just applaud you.
Yeah, you just kept going. I mean, I've had people say, you could wear lipstick when you're doing martial arts. I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not?
I can do anything.
Or you got those little silky uniforms with diamonds on. I'd be like, ooh, I wish there were diamonds. I'd have some money.
Right.
And I went through a lot, to go in, to go up there. I remember this one guy came up to me. He was a competitor, and I was on the cover of Karate Illustrated, and the editor really wanted me to be on it. He says, the first woman, and they were like, yeah, but women and minority people don't sell. They don't sell. And he goes, well, let's put her on, and it's sold out. So this guy, we were at a tournament, and he comes up to me and he goes, "So I saw you on the cover of Karate Illustrated." He goes, "So how'd you get that? Did you sleep with the editor?" And I looked at him. I said, "No, why? Is that how you got on there?"
Yeah, you should have given him the scorpion. If I knew how to do it, he would have got it then.
Yeah, and then he showed. But nowadays, it's it's a different world. It's a whole different world.
How many bones have you broken?
Huh?
How many bones have you broken?
I broke my finger in China O'Brien. And I broke a bone in the side of my foot when I was practicing forms back in the days. I did a jumping kick, and I thought I would land on the balls of my feet. And I just kind of fell over, and I started laughing, and I couldn't get up. So only two. Well, no, wait, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, in martial arts training, yes, only two. I've had some ribs broken, but not through martial arts.
Oh, ribs are the most painful too.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. And any words of wisdom I know this is Hollywood and everyone wants to be an actress and actor and, get out there. Any words of wisdom for people that are looking into getting into acting?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing you could do is find a really good acting school and just perfect your craft. Acting, if you want to do like martial arts, find a good, martial arts school. Make sure your technique is really good. Do the acting as well. Find a good stunt school. There's some really good stunt schools in LA if you want to do stunts, and it's like anything else. You just got to follow your dream. You just have to, know that it's not there's gonna be ups and downs in the road, but just, if you really want it, you go for it.
Exactly. And it's not going to fall in your lap. And that's the biggest thing that, people are always like, I should be here and I should be doing this. And I'm like, well, what are you doing about it? What are you doing? What's your action plan? And they're like, well, I'm thinking about, and I'm like, well, thinking about it's not going to get you to where you need to be.
Yeah,
so,
true.
and that's the biggest thing. So just never giving up on your dream. And at any age too, that's the thing.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
We're just blossoming. I mean, I feel like I'm just blossoming at my age right now. I'm not going to tell you how old that is, but it feels like it feels like it's just kind of starting.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, you look a lot younger than you are, or they know I've been around a long time, but it's like, what I just say is just you be happy and positive and live a good life. And just, that to me is, what keeps you young and happy. And it's a mental thing, like my mom like hangs out with like people like 10 years older than her. And I'm like, Mom, you're not, and she goes, I'm old. I'm like, you're not old. I'm going to take you to the Follies in Palm Springs. Those women are like 96 and doing splits and stuff, And I tell her, it is. It's if you say, hey, yeah, I'm old, I can't do that. Yep. You're going to be old and you're not going to be able to do it. But like I said, that word is never going to be in my vocabulary. You're hearing me say that.
Good
I don't care. I could be like 100. I'll be like, what? No, I'm not. I'm not old.
I know exactly. I'm the same. I'm on that train as well. It's like, no, you know what? Till the bitter end, till the last day I'm here on this earth, it's going to be, go hard or go home.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always my theory.
Yes.
Good for you. It's been such an honor to have you on the show tonight, Cynthia. And I wish you all the best in all the future films that you have coming up and everything that you're doing. And I'm glad that you're getting up there doing upside down zip lining and all the fun things in life, because life is too short, you guys. Get out there and have some fun too. It's not all about work and career and, and family's important to you too as well. So good luck to Skylar and all her future things as well.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I'm so excited to have on Miss Tammy Starr. We also have her friend as well.
Michelle, this is Miss Rock Your Curves 2013.
Beautiful. And Miss Tammy Starr, we actually, Dan Kennedy and I were just at the Rock Your Curves fashion show on Sunday out in Hollywood, and we watched Miss Tammy Starr take the stage, and she is glamorous, gorgeous, and you do look like Wonder Woman. I thought I looked like Wonder Woman, but now I'm looking at her going, I don't know.
You got her smile.
They call me Curvy Wonder Woman with many talents.
Yes, and she's absolutely beautiful. Not only
so are you.
Thank you, on the outside, but on the inside too. I was so glad and honored that you invited me to the fashion show, because I had a lot of fun. It was great and met a lot of great people.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. And I got some great pictures, so I'll post them for you as well.
Oh, great.
So,
thank you, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I forget to, I just want to say this weekend we're doing a walk for domestic violence, and I hope to see you guys out there at Santa Monica at 8 a.m. On the pier, and it's for the Purple Bottom Foundation. So go out and support domestic violence, you guys. All you have to do is walk for the cause. I'm going to be out there with some of my friends. We're going to be having some fun wearing our purple. It's just such a great cause, because there's so much domestic violence out there. It's not only for men, or not only for females, but it's also for men as well. So come on out and join us. I'd love to have you guys there. So again, we had Miss Tammy Starr, and she tell us about who you are. So we've got probably about 10 minutes, and I really just want to kind of where you are in your career, what you're doing, and tell us about this cover shot you have here.
Well, I've been a model since 19 years old, and Pensacola, Florida, Trinket Mallory. I was walking with my friends in the mall one day, and they're a size 0. And she walked up to me and she just like, wow, you're really beautiful. I'd love for you to work with me. And I turned around and it was like, are you talking to me? Because here I am, 6 foot, at 19. And I was a size 10.
Okay.
And so, big and I just said, are you serious? And then she goes, no, you got a really unique look. I'm Indian and Swedish and Caucasian.
Okay.
And so, my father is Stockholm, Sweden. My mom is Troscan Indian and Cherokee.
Okay.
And Caucasian. And so I'm proud of my heritage and also my height. So I represent for 3 things is, it doesn't matter what size, shape, or color. You could be anything you want to be. I push the doors open when shut, and I love to help others succeed on what they want as their dreams, no matter what they want to do in their life. And they call me the curvy one with many talents because God gave me many, many talents. I do voiceovers, puppeteering, praise and worship leader for 1st to 5th graders, and also I sing, I write songs. But I use it and I help others to succeed on whatever I have on my talent. But my passion is modeling. And when I was modeling for Trinket Mallory, I had done Come to Ferrara's Fashions, where the fashion is the place. So I did a commercial.
I love it.
And then all of a sudden, it's like I made history. This is for all the curvy women out there in the world. I want to be that role model in the world. And you can be anything. And don't let anybody say that you're not good enough, that you are. And you have God by your side. God by your side. You can do anything. And I did history of Adorius, San Diego fashion designer is Charlene Borromeo. A shout out to her. All of us plus size models of San Diego walked with all the size 0 models and made history. So I'm very proud of that. And that was in 2014. And then we also did Didi Allure, the first plus designer of LA Fashion Week, and we walked and made history there. And also Las Vegas, a shout out to Purple Diva Designs, Angela Renee. All of us 40 plus divas were in Las Vegas walking there and making history on that. So I'm very proud to represent, the women that they come up to me, and especially on Facebook, I get a lot of messages saying, gosh, I wish I could be a model, but I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm pretty enough. I'm too short, I'm too fat. If you keep on thinking that way, Tracy, then you're not going to succeed in life.
Yeah.
And you're going to believe in the negativity. You're not going to go. You're not going to move forward.
Yeah.
And so with the women that come in my path, I try to help in every way. You got my beautiful sis, Velvet D'Amour. She's in France, and if you know her, she was on Tonight, Entertainment Tonight back then.
Okay.
And nobody wanted her here in the United States. Can you believe it?
Wow.
And so she went to France. And there's a designer that just fell in love with her look. And she's moving, doors and open doors for all of us curvy women. And Norva Michelle, you probably saw her, Miss Rocket Curves 2015.
Yeah,
she's a size 26. And look at her. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. Look
And
at
the
Michelle,
confidence.
too. She's gorgeous and beautiful.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
Say
she
hi,
is.
Michelle.
Hi.
Hi, Michelle. And I have
Hi.
to say, the confidence, it was just oozing out of these women. I actually found myself, and I want to share this with you guys, sitting in my seat. And my posture is very good, but I was kind of, hunched a little bit. It was Sunday. I was kind of chill and relaxing. I didn't know I was going to a fashion show that day. But when I watched these women walk across the stage, I noticed everything came up, and I was just like, and I had chills, and I loved watching you guys because the confidence was just oozing out of you, and you were just owning your bodies, and I was just really proud of you guys because,
Thank you.
I know what it's like because I've been through yo-yo diets up and down my whole
Yes.
life. I had eating disorders, body dysmorphia, anorexia, bulimia, you name it, starvation diets, for like almost 20 years. So I know what it's like to, feel fat and go through weight and and it's really, really, really hard.
It is, and it's like, you know, where you have all sizes, you know, and you saw all the models were different sizes in that. And that's why I want to do a shout out to Jaime Lopez, my designer from Baby Doll Couture. And you were sitting right next to her.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know.
Shout out there.
The host came over. She's like, "Okay, little Miss LA Talk Radio, you're going to move on over now." I was like, "Oh, hi." I didn't know because I was like, I loved her gown. It was gorgeous.
That's a designer.
Yes,
That's Jaime Lopez.
Yes,
So
Jaime Lopez. Absolutely
shout out to
gorgeous.
her. And she does size 14 all the way up to 5X.
Yeah,
And I'm so proud of her. I love you, Jamie. Also, Artwear, Art Meshack.
I still have that song in my head, by the way. Artwear. He played the song, and everyone was like, I can't get it out of my head. So, you know what? Shout out to Artwear because
that's his song, too, on top of it.
Because that song, because there's certain songs that you play and it sits in the tone. So it's hypnotizing. So it basically, I've had it in my head since Sunday. So thank you, Artwear.
I want to go back to also Tawana. She was one thick goddess. She does Egyptian designs and she does plus size also. And to go to the magazine and I just thank God first of all, Jesus. And this was a dream since 19, beautiful Tracy, and you know, and I just like could not believe all the testimony I'd been through in my life, and I just gave it to him and I trusted in him, and it happened this year, and
Congratulations!
all of a sudden, thank you so much. I made cover of. United Kingdom. I give a shout out to Christina
Howard. Hold that
Howard.
magazine up there because I want my viewers to
Christina
see
Howard from United Kingdom. I just
gorgeous.
want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. From United Kingdom, the magazine is coming as we are speaking. This one right here is Tawana Blessing and Philip Drew from New York. Queen Size Magazine, the plus size magazine here, Queen Size Magazine. And being the cover model of November edition. This is not even out yet,
Okay.
so I got this. And I'm going to show you. And I'm going to do a shout out also to Saeed, my top Pakistan photographer, and I'm his first American plus model. So that is something to be very proud of for Saeed and I. We work together.
That's absolutely beautiful. I love that dress too. Some of the designs are crazy.
Iris Abigail from
I
Israel.
love it. Beautiful,
And
beautiful, beautiful.
Also Hector Grella, this is his picture right here, the one where we did it at Pasadena City
Yeah,
Hall.
that's gorgeous.
And it was raining that day,
Ah.
Saeed. But I made it and I worked it and I got that and I put
Good
it
for
over
you.
my hair and I just said, get that camera ready.
You're like, I got this. We only
Yes.
have a couple more minutes, but I just wanted to
Yes.
congratulate you. I know, again, you know, as you said, there was times in my life where when I was growing up and everyone's like, you're tall and you're slender and you got this and that and you should model. And I thought, there's no way I could ever do that, you know, and there was the self-confidence wasn't there. And it wasn't until, you know, 4 years ago that I started competing. And I mean, I'm not super young, but you know, I was just like, it took me that long in my life to transition into getting that confidence to going, I can do this. You know, it's funny, and my parents said to me, well, my dad and my sister said to me, I can't believe you're not nervous, you know, in a bikini on the stage. And I said, I never really thought about it like that. And they go, well, how did you think about it? You know, these people are critiquing you on your body from head to toe. And I said, you know what? It's not about that for me. It's just going up there and being able to actually do this. So I commend you on what you're doing, ladies. You absolutely look gorgeous, and you're just rocking your curves like unbelievable. And
I wanted to do a shout out to Cher Rue from Rock Your Curvy Star.
Yeah, she's amazing as well.
Our 5th year.
Yay, congratulations.
She is the mama Cher. She's the one that opened the doors for all of us curvy models. I want to tell you that she has started like the Miss Rock Your Curves. Now it's Rock Your Curvy.
Yep.
Now she's a director of Miss Plus America. You know Miss America, right? Well, it's now Miss Plus America.
Okay.
And you probably met the host, Debbie Shannon.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a shout out for you, sis.
All right, ladies, we only have about 30 seconds. I want to
Okay.
just close this up. I want to say thank you so much to Dan Kennedy, Tammy Starr, Michelle, and Cynthia Rothrock. And please follow them on Facebook, Tammy Starr, Cynthia Rothrock on social media as well. look out. I want to see you guys at the martial arts kid movie, watching that one. And then with the 2 when it comes out, checking out Miss Tammy Starr and her magazine. I just want to thank you guys for all your love and support. It was such an honor to have these beautiful, amazing guests tonight, and for supporting us every week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. on LA Talk Radio on Life Angels. Hope to see you down at the Purple Bottom Foundation this Sunday. You can find me, Tracy Lynn Cowan, on Facebook. You can find me at TLC Athletics on Instagram and also on Twitter. And yeah, so make sure you join us every week. Thank you once again. I love you guys. Until next time, good night, Angels.
Thank you.
Good night.
You're listening to Life Angels with Tracy Lynn, right here on LA Talk Radio.